are now tuned into JajasMike. It's a pleasure to have you. If this is your first time joining me, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm a firm believer that your life will be changed. Today, we got a phenomenal speaker. One of my brothers by the name of EJ reached out to me. He said he wants to give y'all a message. He wants to deliver something potent. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a firm believer that after you hear this message, if you take the ideologies of this message, that your life will be changed. So without further ado, EJ Hill.
First of all honor, all glory, all praise to the Most High for giving me breath in my lungs and waking me up this morning. And big shout outs to my man Mike Jaja for allowing me to have this section of JajasMike. My name is EJ Hill. And today, I've come to talk to you about something that not too many people like to embrace. Not too many people like to touch on this topic. Not too many people love to talk about what I'm about to talk to you about, but it's vital. Come on. And if you get this, it'll be imperative to your trajectory into success. Today, I've come to talk to you about the process. The process. You see, as we're born, not too many people are born complete. Matter of fact, nobody's born complete. We're all born with raw gifts, raw talents, unrefined dreams that we have to pursue in order to achieve what we feel like is greatness. Let me talk to you for a minute. Come on. Let me talk to you for a minute. You see, the process is what takes you from being that raw and unrefined and refines you into something beautiful. And what you do with that depends on where you go. You dig what I'm saying? See, in the good book, the Bible talks about him being the potter and us being the clay. But not too many people take that into heart. See, you gotta imagine yourself as clay. What's the potter do? The potter comes into the potter's house. Right. The potter sits at the potter's wheel and he takes this clay. And this clay he puts on this potter's wheel and the wheel spins. And as the wheel spins, that clay gets beat up and that clay gets stretched and that clay takes form into the shape that the potter wants to take it in. You gotta understand, if we're the clay, we gotta go through this process. And this process allows for us to get beat up. This process allows for us to get battered. This process tears us up. This process breaks us down. But it only breaks us down to be able to build us into something beautiful. And where we go with this something beautiful is nowhere else but up to the top. To the top. So you're going through life. You're going through life struggles. You get knocked down. You lose your job. Ha. You lose a friend here. Ha. You fail a semester here. Right? Everything that you're doing seems to fail. And at this point, you're starting to question yourself. You question yourself, am I good enough? You question yourself, is God, are you up there? What's going on? What's going on? My mother is my lifeline and she's not here anymore. My mentor has turned his back on me. My best friend stabbed me in the back. What am I supposed to do, God? What am I supposed to do? Are you here? Are you real? You doubt yourself. At that point, at that moment, instead of doubting yourself, you should embrace yourself. Because what you're doing right now is you're going through that process. And as you're going through that process, you're starting to pick up things. You're starting to pick up strength here. You're starting to pick up peace here. You're starting to pick up everything that you need to get through this process. And at the end of the day, you stand a complete person. Process comes in seasons, right? The earth has seasons, doesn't it? So we've got a fall, we've got a winter, we've got a spring, and we have a summer. So what happens in each of these seasons? EJ, what happens in each of these seasons? The fall time happens, right? Everything starts to get darker, right? Your trees and your leaves and all types of your shrubbery is changing colors. Everything's starting to fall. Everything's starting to seemingly die, right? But the only reason why it's doing this is because the winter is coming. And there's no way that these plants can survive, these leaves, these trees can survive in the winter. There's no way. It's too cold. They're not getting enough nutrients. So they have to shrivel up, they have to die. And what do we as people look at the fall? Oh, it's beautiful. The leaves are orange. Oh my God, the leaves are red. Like everything is beautiful. Everything is beautiful from what we look at. But them trees are like, oh my God, I'm losing leaves here. Everything's falling off of me. What's going on? Not knowing that they're getting ready for this wintertime. It's supposed to be cold. What happens in the wintertime? It's cold. It's freezing. It's freezing. What happens in the springtime? Springtime comes and things start to branch out. Things start to branch out. Leaves start to grow again. Everything starts to grow again. And just at that moment when the trees thought they were okay, what do the owners of the trees do? They come out with the clippers and they got to prune those trees. And they prune the limbs off. And they prune this and they cut this and they chop this because they got to make sure that the tree grows healthy. And then what happens in the summertime? We've got healthy trees. We've got healthy shrubs. Everything is beautiful. Your life is just like that process. Your life is just like that process. Imagine yourself in the springtime. Imagine yourself in the springtime. What happens? We're getting chopped off. Things are happening here. You lose your best friend here, right? You lose your job here. You lose a family member here. Everything is going on around you is falling. Everything's getting cut off and you're like, God, why? Why, God? You called me to do this. You called me to step into this purpose. Why am I getting trimmed down, God? What's going on? What's going on? Not thinking that what he's doing is he's setting you up for that summertime. What I'm telling you is you got to embrace that process. You got to embrace that process, right? Because at the end of the day, you're going to stand a finished product. When you cook, what happens? When you cook, what happens? Right? Do you stick everything in the microwave and just let the microwave do its thing? No, that's not how you get good food. No, you can get a lean cuisine or a TV dinner here or a TV dinner there, but every now and then you want that home cooking. You want that home cooking. You got to go home to your mama, right? Because your mama is going to give you something that's going to hold you fast, give you something that's going to stick to your ribs, right? But how does that food get cooked, huh? How does it get cooked? Mama wakes up early in the morning. She gets her seasonings right. She takes that meat. She beats up the meat. She gets in there. She fills the meat up with all that seasoning, right? Right? And it's marinated. She wakes up and she snaps those peas, right? How do you think those vegetables feel? That hurts. You snap me out, that hurt, right? But what's the finished product? After all that cooking process, what happens is you have a beautiful meal and it's ready for you to eat. We got to think of our lives the same, but my brothers and sisters. We got to think of our lives the same. Because right now, before this process, what we have is unrefined. What we have is raw. What we have is ragged. It's just talent. It's gifts. It's dreams. But the only way we're going to be able to make these dreams come into fruition is if we go through the process. The only way we're going to make these dreams come into fruition is if we go through the process. And the crazy thing about the process is the process isn't bound to any terms by anybody. My process might be this. Jaja's process might be this. Heck, my process might take 2-3 years. Jaja's process might take 1 year, right? But what we can't do is we can't get sidetracked by everybody else's process. Oh, he graduated. I'm working a 9 to 5 because I got to get money to pay for school. Oh, he's a CEO. When I'm in school trying to get to where he's going, something I'm doing wrong. Something I'm doing wrong. Nah, you're doing everything right. Because at the same moment that you're looking at this person over there, they're looking at you like, what am I doing wrong? I got to be doing something right, right? Because each of us are going through the process. And the moment when you sit and embrace your process, the moment when you get to your process and you're like, okay, it's whatever. Okay, I'm ready to fight. It's whatever. Okay, I lost a friend here. I got to keep moving. He backstabbed me. I got to keep moving. I lost this. I got to keep moving. I got fired from my job. I got to keep moving. There's another job on the way. You got to get out of that process. When you get through that process, you got to swim through it. You got to swim through that process. And as soon as you swim through that process, as soon as you keep on getting through that process will come to the end. The light at the end of the tunnel is going to be seen. And as soon as that light's at the end of the tunnel, what you doing? You running right to it. You running right to it, right? My brothers, my sisters, you must embrace your process. As soon as you embrace that process, your greatness is on the other side of the horizon. I'm EJ Hill. I'm out.